and welcome to the Family Fun Force podcast. I'm Jess,
I'm Matt.
and today we're reviewing Monster Hunter Rise. Monster Hunter Rise is rated T for teen for violence, alcohol, and blood reference. It's available on Nintendo Switch and coming to PC early 2022. It is one player per console and up to four players local and online. It is an action RPG game. I don't know what else you'd want to call it. That's all it was listed as.
No, that describes it.
It is rated 88 on Metacritic. What the?
Mm-hmm.
Not even a 90, guys? Not even a 90?
People can be wrong. It's okay. That's why we exist.
We just exist, okay? We have no reason to be. We just exist. Synopsis. Set in the ninja-inspired land of Kamura Village, explore lush ecosystems and battle fearsome monsters to become the ultimate hunter. It's been half a century since the last calamity struck, but a terrifying new monster has reared its head and threatens to plunge the land into chaos once again. And I just got flashbacks
All the
to
other Monster
medieval.
Hunters?
No, to medieval
Oh, okay.
because don't worry about it. Hunt solo or in a party with friends to earn rewards that you can use to craft a huge variety of weapons and armor. Brand new gameplay systems such as the high-flying wire action and your canine companion Palamute will add exciting new layers to the already robust combat that Monster Hunter is known for. What do you got for us, Matt?
So, Monster Hunter Rise was developed and published by Capcom. Don't know who they are. I don't know what rock you've been hiding under. Capcom, well known for the rest of the Monster Hunter series. Yes, it's been around since early 2000s. They've also done Resident Evil,
Woo!
Street Fighter,
Eh.
and probably most importantly, Dragon's Dogma.
Dragon's Dogma. Or, Okami!
Eh.
I am a Capcom fan. I've played like all the Capcom games. I'm just not a huge fan of Street Fighter. I like Tekken better, but like I'll play every Capcom game pretty much. I should probably get a Capcom tattoo.
Marvel vs. Capcom.
I tried it. I couldn't get into it. Continue.
So, Monster Hunter Rise is a third person action RPG where you battle giant monsters with ridiculous weapons.
I don't know if they're all ridiculous.
They're all pretty ridiculous.
Okay.
Have you ever tried to hit somebody with an origami axe larger than your body?
I mean, I can't say that I have.
Yeah, well, you can in this game.
You're not supposed to be hitting people, though. You're supposed to be hitting the monster.
Well, you can do both. So, the Monster Hunter series is well known for its slow animation and combo based combat. Nothing is instant. Your weapons are all slow because they're all giant. Everything is animation based. So when you see a monster attack you, you have sort of like a fighting game. You have times to counter or dodge. You also gather and collect items from the environment and defeated monsters and use those items to craft items or equipment. There is no level system in Monster Hunter. Your equipment determines everything. There's an immersive hub world where you can interact with NPCs to engage in various activities. This is the first Monster Hunter I have to say I actually like all the NPCs.
What?
There's also online and ad hoc co-op with up to four of your buds. Well, three of your buds, my bad. 4 hunters total.
4 people total.
And on those massive 4-person hunts, you can still bring one buddy with you, be it a palico, which are kitty cats that hold weapons and have armor just like your hunter, or the brand new palamute, which is a dog slash horse slash awesome.
Woof.
What kind of things would adults like about Monster Hunter Rise?
Alright. For adults, this is a game that you can sink many hours in, but still beat it very quickly. That sounds like doesn't make
What does
sense
that
there.
even mean?
What does that even mean, you ask? Well, you can do the village quests and get the quote unquote story done pretty quickly.
Well, the story's not actually finished.
The story is
Talk
not
about that
actually
later,
finished.
or
Yes, we will
later.
talk about that. But you have this whole subset of the hub, the guild, and quote unquote hunter rank, which is about to be expanded, that you can keep working on indefinitely. Because
Forever.
that's how it works. Also, I mean, you can choose to make every single armor set and every single weapon, or just make what you need and get through as quickly as possible. The choice is yours. You can make it take forever or as quickly as possible. It can be challenging to play solo, but great fun with friends. It has a wide variety of monsters and encourages strategy, but has many resources available to understand how to have success in hunts. What do you think this is good for adults?
I think adults will enjoy the deep and complex fighting mechanics. Every weapon is unique. Every weapon has different combos and different abilities. And more importantly, every monster is unique, even more so than the individual weapons. And each monster feels like scaling a mountain as you first learn the monster, and it's difficult, and you fight it more and more, and you learn its ins and outs. And then when you finally topple these huge beasts, you feel like you've scaled a whole mountain. It's epic.
Can I just say, in Monster Hunter World, you do scale a monster that's a mountain,
the
but not in this one. That's okay.
the Monster Hunter games in general have always been easy to set both short and long term goals, which is really great for playing games, especially as an adult when your time's limited. In Monster Hunter, you know the longest most hunts are going to take is 45 minutes because that's the max time they give you.
50, but yeah.
Oh, 50? My bad. Yeah, so you have 50 minutes to fight the monster. Most of the time, it's going to take a lot less than that, about 10 to 20 minutes. And you can set your goals on getting that next weapon or that next piece of equipment, or you can have those long term goals about finishing this armor set that gives you just the right skills to really maximize the potential and the weapons that you enjoy. I also, and I can't believe I'm putting this, I think adults will enjoy the NPCs in Monster Hunter Rise. This is the first Monster Hunter game I have ever felt a strong connection to any of the NPCs. And I like almost all of the NPCs in Rise. Even my least favorite NPC is still a good NPC. They're all fun, they're all colorful, they all have unique dialogue that you actually start to care about, more so than any other game in the past. And those Shrine Maiden twins. Anyway.
All right. So what I think about for kids, not the Shrine Maiden twins. For
Kids
kids,
will probably like the Shrine Maiden twins.
hush. For kids, this is a game that requires not only no kids would like the younger girl who makes the dango.
Yeah, they probably will like the younger girl who makes a donga. I don't know her name, but she is hilarious, but also
She
very
creeps me
annoying.
out. For kids, this is a game that requires not only fighting enemies but also gathering and exploration. It is a cooperative game as well as I didn't type that right. What was I trying to say here?
Monster Hunter is a single player game that encourages cooperation with other players as well. You
Yeah,
can play the whole game solo, it's great.
you
Or you can
can
play with
play by
friends, and it's
yourself,
great.
or you can play online with friends or locally, which is great for kids. They want to play with other people. It isn't too graphic, and you get to have a pet cat and dog. Google corrected that as pet can.
You can have pet can
Yeah,
and a
it.
pet dog.
Yep, you can have a pet cat and dog, Palico and Palamute. Also, did we mention dinosaurs?
No, we haven't mentioned dinosaurs yet.
Kids love dinosaurs. This
Kids,
game is full of dinosaurs, dragons, yokai,
which for
monkeys,
those who don't know is ghosts slash demons in Japanese.
but mostly dinosaurs? What do you think,
Like
Matt?
there's a giant snake fox that spits soap at you.
Mitsuzune.
There's a bird that looks like an umbrella and then it stabs you and blows fire.
Aka, I don't know how to pronounce it. Don't don't get caught up on not being able to pronounce the names. Nobody knows how to. It's fine. Akanasum.
There's straight up dinosaurs like the Kuluyaku and the not Jagras. No.
I mean, any of the raptor family. Baggy, Jaggy.
Yeah, those ones. Yeah, I think kids will love the amazing visuals and music that are everywhere in this game, and they've taken it up such a notch. Anyone who's played World might have complained about the weapons not being different from each other. Well,
Like you.
they fixed that. And boy, did they fix that. Every weapon's unique. It looks awesome. There's a whole bunch of different trees to make. And right, upgrading a weapon along a tree, it might not change appearance very much. But the different trees, of which most weapons have 15, each weapon inside of weapon category looks unique. They're all awesome. Some of them are really crazy. I mentioned the origami switch axe. Trying to think of some other crazy ones. I haven't found a lot of the crazy ones yet because we haven't gotten to play nearly as long as we normally do in a Monster Hunter game. We're each sitting about 23, 25 hours, I think. You can ride the dogs and have cats to fight for you slash cook your food. I guess, yeah, the cats only make the food in the hub now. They used to do it outside, but you still have the dogs, and the cats can fight for you. You can customize dogs and cats, and kids love dogs and cats. You can send your Palicos and Palamutes out on missions, and it's a really adorable animation where they get sent away via kites to distant destinations. They also ride submarines, pedal-powered submarines, out to sea to find resources for you. And then you can customize their armor. Each Palico and Palamute has a helmet slot and a body slot for armor, as well as a weapon. And the Palicos, you can adjust their skills, which grant them crazy abilities like spawning giant barrel bombs or a tank that only they can drive. And the dogs, you can give extra equipment like a pair, how do you describe it? A bear trap set of jaws that they'll use to bite onto a monster and hang off hilariously. So if the dog bites the monster in the face, the monster will shake its head and the poor doggy's stuck to the end of these jaws getting flailed around. It's pretty funny. Also, probably the best part about Rise that kids will love to no end is that the new game engine allows for incredible exploration. Add in the new grapple mechanic with the wire bugs and the wall running, and the amount of time you can spend exploring these maps and finding all these little secrets. And every map has been lovingly created with so much stuff to find everywhere, even if it looks like where you're at is low resolution and it might not appear finished until you start looking at the details that are there. You'll find so much stuff everywhere. Go by Rise.
Everywhere. So before we get into us breaking down, for any of you who have not played a Monster Hunter game, you've not really looked into it, I'm gonna and put it in most simple terms what the premise of the game is. You hunt things. You you cut up those things. You make armor out of those things and other things. It's not just the one thing that you killed you make armor out of. You gotta gather rocks and plants and bugs
And
and
fish.
fish. And then you make the whole armor set. You get a head, chest, arms, legs, and feet. And then you have the armor, which gives you special abilities and defense against certain elements, fire, water, etc. And then you make weapons out of the monster you chopped up. Those weapons have their own special abilities. How many different weapons are there even, Matt?
There are 14 classes.
14 different weapons. You aren't stuck. Most other games, they're like, oh, here's a character class. Here's 4 classes. It's not like that. You pick a weapon. You're not stuck in a class.
You can swap weapons whenever.
Whenever.
There's no level progression for your character, so you're never investing skill points. All you're doing is investing monster parts, which you can get more monster parts by going to hunt another monster.
So if we say welcome to the grind, it's because if you want to get everything, it's a grind.
I'd like to point out, I don't like. Yes, Monster Hunter is a game about grinding big boss battles. I don't like, especially telling new players that it's a game about grinding because it rarely feels like grinding.
It doesn't have to be, but you will find yourself doing the same quest over and over again if you want to finish the armor or you want to finish that weapon.
I
I'm
think
just
it's
saying, it
very important
exists.
to note that even doing the same quest over and over, the way the monsters are implemented, it's never the same fight over and over.
Okay, no, but you're still doing the same quest
It's not
over
like,
and
say,
over.
Cough Cough Souls, Cough Cough, where
You
it's
haven't actually played Souls though.
the
Just saying.
same 3 or 4 combos the boss throws at you and you just memorize those. That's not how it is in Monster Hunter. These monsters will react to your specific positioning and your specific tactics, and they will counter you, and you will need to learn how to counter them. It gets harder with the more difficult monsters. The easier monsters you'll find have very limited move sets. And as you move up the difficulty tier, you'll suddenly realize some of these monsters will pick up. Oh, hey, you've been spending a lot of time wire bugging in the air, so I'm going to start knocking you out of the air every time you go up. Happened to me last night. The monsters are very good at reacting to you, and the way that you fight them changes based on your weapon and your tactics, and it makes every battle is a dance. It's not just a spam button and run. It's you do your move while they do their moves, and you react and they react, and it's great. Anything else you wanted to add?
No, not to that point. No.
Okay. So, just what didn't you like?
I can't believe you still said it. I can't believe this.
I actually have things I don't like about
Just
Rise.
just look at my screen right now. And the paragraph on top is what I did like, and the paragraph on bottom is what I didn't like.
Okay.
So, I'm about to have nothing to say. Um what I did like, what didn't I like? I liked all of it. I personally really enjoyed all of it. I've been a big fan of the series for a long time. The graphics and music always are a big draw for me. It is a difficult game, but the newer additions make it easy to start, and updates like Wirebug, Palamute, and not loading between areas, thank God, help traverse areas quickly and efficiently. There are many weapons to choose from, and the special Silk abilities with Wirebug are pretty cool too. A wide variety of monsters from past games, as well as new ones, fit perfectly into the universe made in this series. I like the Ninja Samurai inspired take of this release too. Also, there are free content updates, of which are already releasing and more on the way, and free items given for time playing as well as trying the demo out, which they hit their first milestone in game sales and released a bunch of free stuff for people just to make the game a little easier for you, like potions and healing abilities and traps and whatnot. And they did that a lot with Monster Hunter World, so I assume they're going to do it a lot with Rise. So, they respect their fans. They appreciate their fans. It's nice to have a game like that where you get free stuff constantly just for playing the game. I love dinosaurs and dragons. This game's literally made for me. It's Matt's kind of running bit. I don't know if he was going to say it or not, but he mentioned the game to me when it first came out on PSP, and he's like, "Oh, you're not going to want to play this. It's too difficult. This, that, and the other." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm going to try it." And I absolutely fell in love with the game.
Little does she know I said that because I knew it would make her angry and she'd actually play with me.
Well, triggered. Anyways, I've been playing the series a long time. It gets better every single release. I've not had any complaints with every new game, in this one I'm really enjoying using the Palamute. It's cute. It's a dog. I don't have to sprint through every single area and waste stamina anymore. But as a standalone game, it's a good game. It's a lot easier to get into than the older ones. The game's good about explaining stuff to you. If you've not tried it before, don't hesitate and just hopping into this one. You don't have to try the older ones if you don't want to, but Mon-
Rise is the first game. Like I thought World was a good one, but World has its own differences from the main series of game. Rise is the first one I can say like wholeheartedly. If you haven't played the Monster Hunter series and you think it interests you, try Rise because there's them on the Nintendo store. Give that a go. This is the best entry to the series to date, and it doesn't have the problems World did.
as I was gonna say, if you don't have a Nintendo Switch, definitely give World a try. But if you have a Switch, get Rise. Also, Monster Hunter, is it 4 Ultimate? Or Generations?
Generations Ultimate.
Generations is also on Switch, but
I'm sorry.
you don't need to play the older games. You don't need to. There's
I,
no underlying story. You can just play the newest one.
I'm just thinking there's a meme, what's your favorite Monster Hunter? And it's like people who like Monster Hunter 1, 2, and Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. It's like this is like the intro to the series. They're the best games ever. And it's Monster Hunter Try and 3 Ultimate. It's like let's bring fishing back. And it was 4 Ultimate, and it's like all these new monsters or whatever. And it's World, and it's like I play on PC, and then it's like who likes Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate? And it was just a blank square. It's a good entry, but it didn't add anything to the series.
Generations was on 3DS, and then they released Generations Ultimate was the first release on a Nintendo Switch. So
Generations is great if you have a 3DS and you want to play it again. Generations is basically all the Monster Hunters before it put on the 3DS. That's fine. Generations Ultimate is the same story for the Switch. If you just want to see what was Monster Hunter like before, it got real good. Get Generations Ultimate, you'll see.
But since you keep derailing me, guess that was all I had to say. Anyways, what do you enjoy about this newest iteration of Monster Hunter, Matt?
I like the NPCs. There's so many good ones. The Miko twins, Hinoa and Minoto, are so cute, even though they're Wyverian and likely twice your age. I, as annoying as she is, I like Dango Girl. I think she's hilarious.
I don't.
I also think it's hilarious that she takes credit for the Dango when all she does is decorate it. She does not cook it. It's so funny. I like the merchant. I actually find myself like talking to the NPCs around town just because like their dialogue changes based on where you are in the story. So I'll just talk to random NPCs every once in a while just to see like, hey, what are you gonna say? Because like before, I never cared. I knew that was a feature back in Freedom Unite, but like there was no reason to talk to any of them. It probably helps because back then they would name the NPCs like their job title. So you would have like the chief, the fishmonger, the ace cadet. That was it. Their personality was just their name. But now they're like, this is so and so, and then they still have their title. And it's just like a little more personal. They're a little more engaging. I think their dialogues are better than they have been in the past. This is a very punny game, you'll come to discover. Everything is puns, especially with the cats. The cats are the worst culprits, but everything is puns.
Yeah.
I love how Minoto and Hinoa comment on things because they're both like real. What's the word I'm looking for? They're very sharp with their tongues and they're not afraid to say what's on their mind. It's pretty funny. The whole village is just more engaging than it's been in the past. I want to know what's going on down by the docks. I think that's probably going to be in the future, we'll discover, but.
Or it's nothing.
Or it's nothing. It could very well be nothing. That's Monster Hunter for you. They tend to just build out these beautiful worlds and like sometimes they don't finish it, but like it still adds to the environment. It's not like it's wasting anything. It's there. It's something to look at. Every once in a while an NPC down there will want your attention. That's about it. I like most of the new monsters. We just fought the Magnamala in the hub.
Magnum Marshmallow, you mean?
He is the flagship monster, which just means that he's the monster on the cover of the game.
He's important to the story, but he's not the only thing you will fight
Right.
that's difficult.
You'll come to discover in Monster Hunter games what's on the cover of the box is never the final boss. They actually like to keep that hidden from you. So he's just an important monster in the story, which is cool. And he was an interesting fight. I like they have a bunch of new monsters. We mentioned the Umbrella Bird. That was most new players are going to discover that's going to be like their wall monster. That's going to be the first monster that's going to be hard to beat. You might find yourself getting knocked out. Every quest you go on, you have 3 respawns, and that's shared if you're playing co-op. So if 3 different people get knocked out, you'll fail, or if one person gets knocked out 3 times, you'll fail. You'll discover that Umbrella Bird's probably gonna be the first one to give you trouble if you're new. For Monster Hunter veterans, you're quickly gonna discover that the new wire bug skills kind of make most fights not hard. Stuff might be a little overpowered now, but it's still fun. It's still Monster Hunter. Everything's there, and it's there and implemented better than it was in World. And they got rid of the quest handler from World, so yay!
Yay.
Thank you, Capcom. Nobody liked her. I'm sorry. If you're a person who likes quest handler, you're wrong. I'm sorry, but her not being there makes the game better.
I don't know. I get slightly irritated by asking, how about this weather every time I go to pick a quest in the village, but that's fine.
Oh, yeah, it does. So, Monster Hunter, ever since World, has had 3 dubs to the game, which is awesome that they added that. But it does mean that English voice lines can get repetitive. I play with the Japanese voice lines, and I don't understand enough Japanese that it doesn't get repetitive to me. I'm sure if I understood it, they could get repetitive. But the little Japanese I know means that I can spot a word here and there and be like, oh, I sort of know what they're saying, but it never grates on me. Meanwhile, the English voice lines I can hear from across the room, and I sometimes get like, oh wow, There's also always the Monster Hunter language dub. I actually recommend that because it's just gibberish and it's hard for gibberish to get repetitive. That said, it is also this is the first game that has had amazing voice lines across all three dubs. And they wrote three fully vocalized songs. At least three. There might be more I haven't found yet. Three, like 3 minute long, fully vocalized and orchestrated songs, sung entirely in gibberish. And they sound amazing.
I mean, the Sideus music from Monster Hunter Try, isn't that gibberish?
Yes, but that's Japanese chant. I forget what the actual style is called, but it's a Japanese choir chanting you might recognize from Ghost in the Shell, which I think is typically not actual words either. I think it's just chanting. I could be wrong though, but yeah, especially in the Golden Sideus Hunt, the soundtrack has no lyrics and they don't make them sound like words. It's mostly just the vocalization as noise, and it sounds epic. But that is back in the older Monster Hunters. No Sideus now. That's only in 3 and 3 Ultimate.
Cause no swimming.
No swimming. So sad. I desperately want swimming to come back. Anyways, yes. So the three songs in this are the Shrine Maidens theme, the Hunter Guild's. I can't remember the name of that one, and then the Dango song, which is adorable, by the way. You should definitely listen to the whole song when you order your dango. And for those who don't know, dango is Japanese sweet rice dumplings is the best way to describe it. Traditionally, it's literally three ingredients. It is sweet rice flour, it is regular rice flour, and it is sugar. It's interesting. If you ever have the opportunity, I'd say give it a try. But it's not. Don't expect the way Hinoa looks when she eats it. I wouldn't expect the average American or European to have the same reaction to dango.
So this is why I say I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, you can say that now. I
I
suppose.
didn't enjoy it.
Jessica, was there anything about Monster Hunter Rise you didn't like?
Was there anything I didn't like? The Dongo. Just kidding. Um,
Dango ruined it for me. Hinoa's a liar. 0 out of 10.
like it's colorful, so I'm assuming she adds, or the cats add
The,
some sort
the,
of
the
flavoring.
color in traditional dango is matcha, which is a type of green tea,
So it tastes like tea. Great, even better.
and the
Um,
pink is just regular food coloring.
Fantastic. Well, if I like tea flavored, whatever. It's not a sweet, okay? Rice is not a sweet. It's not.
It is if you're Japanese.
I'll eat it, but it's not a sweet. Beans aren't a sweet either.
Yeah, red bean paste. That's actually usually what they put on to make it sweeter. They also
Stop.
will grill it with sweet soy sauce. So they take soy sauce, mirin, and
Stop.
sugar, and they'll boil that down to condense it, and then they dribble it
Stop.
on top and they grill it, which sounds worse.
Like, I know I'm American, so sweet tooth, but like, no, those things don't have any flavor in them.
Mm.
Jesus.
I actually liked it. I don't know. Like it's not sweet.
It
It's not
just
like a
it
candy.
just dropped in my stomach and my stomach was like, "What are you doing?"
It would make a good side dish for a breakfast or brunch.
Some things that were not enjoyable were, I don't know. I don't really have any complaints?
What?
Question mark. I'm a bit
You
turned
don't
off.
like that half the story's missing?
Well, I haven't even beaten the game, so how would I actually know that half the story is missing? You know what I'm saying?
I mean that's fair, but half of
I
it
don't
is.
know how far I get from where I am. I just beat Magnum Mallow in the hub, but I haven't beat it in the main story yet. But yeah, you keep saying the story's missing. I can't necessarily judge it on that because I haven't gotten far enough to say. But yes, I guess story's missing question mark. But this is being resolved by free content updates, literally in 3 weeks.
I think they said that the actual conclusion to the story will be in a paid DLC. That's why people are upset.
Okay, well, it's I'm about to mention DLC right now, so I am a bit turned off by the fact there's already a pack of paid DLC available for $20, but it is at this point in time just cosmetics, which can all be purchased separately, or at least that's what it appeared to be. There might be a couple things that you have to get in the pack, but I didn't go piece by piece because there's a lot of pieces in the $20 pack. You know, we're talking hair, we're talking voice lines, we're talking poses, we're talking layered. outfits. There's layered palico and there's layered palamute armor, and I think that's everything that's in the DLC. It's $20.
What does
Oh,
layered mean?
layered means it's what your character looks like, but not necessarily what you're wearing. So the appearance can look different, but you can pick any armor set you want to wear underneath to change your stats, and you'll still look like the same on the outside. So, case in point, there are three amiibos. There are three amiibos available to purchase alongside Monster Hunter Rise, being the Palamute, the Palico, and the Magnum Mallow. If you purchase these amiibos, they unlock the layered Magnum Mallow armor.
Armor.
So you can make the outside look like the Magnum Mallow armor, but you can wear whatever set of armor you want to wear underneath. And this is for the Palico, Palamute, and your Hunter character. If you get the Magnum Mallow, it's the Hunter character. Palico is the Palico, and Palamute is Palamute.
Anyone familiar with MMOs, this is just your outer armor or your presentation armor, whatever it's called.
It's literally just appearance.
Yep.
So, case in point, I got the Palamute amiibo. So my dog looks like a little tiger, like
With
the
purple
Magnum
flames.
Mallow, but I can put any set of armor I want on it to give it certain stats. So yes. Okay.
Only available via DLC.
If you want the Magnum Mallow layered armor, you got to buy the amiibos, which are like $20 a pop, and the Magnum Mallow one's $25, and they're impossible to find now. So good luck with that. And yes, if you pre-order the game, you got the layered armor for the Palico and Palamute. If you get the deluxe edition of the game, you got layered armor. And then yes, so far this first pack of paid DLC is another layered armor set for you, your cat, and your dog. Customization. We'll just go into it now because it's being brought up now.
Yes.
You can change the first thing you do when you start the game is you're gonna make your character, and it's eyes, head, face, mouth, scars, makeup, hair, body
color,
type, voice line.
It's no longer male and female, it's type A and type B. Or type 1 and type 2.
Yeah.
And you can use all the hairs on either type, and you can have all the facial hairs on either type. That's amazing.
All the colors. Then you customize your cat. Then you customize your dog. Just starting up the game. Gonna be a good half an hour to make things look how you want to look, which is pretty awesome.
And you can adjust these after you've finished, so you don't need to set it. It's not set in stone. You can change it in the future if you want.
Now, I will say on this point, a complaint I have always had is that I make a point of changing my hair color, but when you wear helmets, that doesn't matter what hair color you picked. You get the hair that's attached to the helmet. Period.
That's on certain helmets have what looks like hair. It's usually a monster part.
But you don't see your hair, is what I'm saying. Typically.
It depends. Some helmets you do.
Typically you don't, though.
You're right. Typically you don't. Most helmets cover up your hair, and they have their own hair-like material. But it's not supposed to be your hair. That's part of
I get that.
what you hunted.
It's just changing your hair color is almost meaningless.
Now, in the past, there are armored colors. I'm sure they're in this game. We just haven't advanced far enough to discover them. But
yeah, once you get to higher rank armor, you can change like an overall shade of your armor. I assume that's still in Rise. It was in World, so I'm just assuming it's in Rise. We haven't gotten that far.
And yeah, for every character, you have 5 armor slots. One for your head, chest, arms, and legs.
That I did mention, Tay.
That's 4. Am I missing one?
It's head, shoulders, knees, and toes. No, it's waist.
Yeah, waist.
That's why I say legs and feet.
Okay, and then
or you can say crotch and feet, I guess.
You also have your weapon, and you craft armor from the monsters you hunt or the resources you gather, or usually both, and you can fill in all your slots. And this game picks up the skill system from World, where every armor piece will grant you 1 point in one skill. Some pieces might grant you 1 point in multiple skills. Some pieces might grant you 2 points in one skill. Every point you have in a skill grants you an ability. The more points you have, the better your ability. For example, you might get critical up, and your first point might give you like plus 5% on your affinity, which is how often you will do critical damage, which is a 50% bonus over base damage. And then level 2 might be 15%, and level 3 might be 25%. I don't know the exact numbers, I'm just going off the top of my head. You can also get like resistances, like fire resistance or poison resistance, and like first level of poison resistance will lower the poison damage you take. Second level will make you immune to poison. That kind of stuff. You can also change your underclothes. So if you take off all your armor, you can absolutely remove all your armor if you want. You run around in your skivvies. It's usually a bodysuit esque thing. How would you describe it?
I mean, it's underwear.
Yeah.
You pick it when you're making your character. You pick which type of underwear you want. You pick the colors, so you know what's underneath you the whole time. But it's your underwear. It's a chest part and it's a crouch part.
Yeah, it's usually
It's underwear.
it's definitely it's more than what we consider underwear nowadays. It's usually thicker. It's but it is their underwear.
It's underwear
Yeah.
for people who hunt monsters.
Yeah. And there's like three or four styles, I can't remember, that you can pick from, and you can absolutely hunt monsters naked if you want. Some people consider it a challenge.
There used to be quests that force you to do that. They don't exist anymore, really. But
Kind of sad. Try was best game. Also new to Rise, which we hadn't touched on at all whatsoever, probably because it's our least favorite mode.
the wave based game mode.
Yes, the new
I'm
horde
okay
mode.
with the rampage. I don't I
Rampage.
don't have feelings negatively to
It's
it.
a new thing they tried. It's wave
Tried. I think
based
it's fine.
survival where they spawn 15 or 20 large monsters and they run through a tower defense map. And you play a tower defense game where you run around and you can bonk them on the head, or you can build towers and climb in the towers and shoot them. It's okay. It's something they tried. I don't think they nailed it. Some people like it, some people hate it. I'm kind of indifferent.
Do you really prefer hunting the huge monsters, taking forever to get them to a point where they and run away over
Yes,
this? Do you prefer that?
the
I don't.
the old fighting the giant monsters was so fun. I think World did it very poorly with their choice of monsters. But in the past, you're telling me you didn't enjoy the Golden Sadeas fight?
No, I didn't. I absolutely hated it.
What about the one that you fought on the sand
I
skiffs?
hated it. They were my least favorite things. I hated them.
You didn't like in Freedom Unite fighting the okay.
I
Well,
think that I always thought they were time consuming. I never knew where I was at with the monsters. I failed on those quests constantly. They always broke whatever I was trying to defend. I didn't like them. That
okay.
was it for me. I
I guess
hated it.
that's it. I didn't realize they were this controversial, but I guess the old
I
fights were, and this is their
didn't like them.
attempt to replace the old giant Elder Dragon fights with something new, and it didn't go as well as they thought. And I certainly don't think this is better than the giant Elder Dragons, but I also like I kind of agree. I don't think it's that much worse.
I mean, the overall concept is essentially the same. Because let's be real. What were you doing in those big fights? You were using cannon. You were using the arrow. You were
Mm-hmm.
shooting, and then at some point you got to get down and actually fight the big monster. It's essentially played the same way, except the fact that you're fighting a ton of little monsters versus one big one.
Yeah, I can agree with you there.
So I feel like the new Rampage mode is more interactive, and I can gauge where I'm at because it tells you when the waves are over and when we're getting to the end versus
Would
those
you
those big monster fights. You have no idea where you're at.
have enjoyed the older big monster fights if there was something akin to a health gauge?
Yes, that would have helped me to know where I was at. But also, again, I constantly just failed in those quests because I didn't make enough progress fast enough to, you know, what was the word term they used to turn away the monster, whatever term they used.
The monster would retreat. They just
Yes,
said that
retreat.
such retreated.
I I was never good at those. I mean, to be fair, they were supposed to be difficult quests. They were the higher rank, fighting the big, but I never really liked them. I
Well,
just didn't.
I feel a little bad now because I always wanted to farm the golden Sadeas because I
That's
liked
why I
fighting them.
didn't want to farm the golden Sedays.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you have it. And any Monster Hunter veterans out there? The new Horde modes, not really better, not really worse than the old stuff. Jessica likes it more than the old stuff. I like it less than the old stuff, so it's pretty middle road for that. Was there anything else that you did not like about Rise?
I don't have complaints.
All right.
I really
Well,
don't.
I really don't want to throw dirt on my baby,
This
but
is the point of it. I can't inherently complain about something, so you have to. That's just how this works.
this is by far the easiest Monster Hunter to date. And I thought World was easy with the Jagras. Is that even a large monster, the Jagras? No, it's two popos stuck together.
Two popos stuck together?
Yeah, in a flesh suit. Anyways,
I don't even know how
this,
to.
as much as I love Rise, the wire, those silk bind skills, the wire bug skills are so incredibly overpowered. It's insane. I've seen speed runs of people fighting monsters and never once taking damage, not because they're dodging, not because they're using their weapons, but because they're just spamming silkbind skills. And it's borderline disgusting for a Monster Hunter game to get cheesed this bad to the point where I wish there was an option to turn silkbind off. It is that bad. If you love Monster Hunter and you don't have the self control to make the game fun for yourself, if you're going to abuse these silkbind skills, this will actively make the game worse for you. You will not enjoy this as much as you have previous Monster Hunters.
Can I be
If
honest,
you,
real quick?
one second, I
I
just want to say one more thing. If you are new to Monster Hunter, the silkbind skills will help you. You will enjoy them. I'm not saying don't use them at all. I'm saying I wish it was an option. You can go, Jeff.
I constantly forget to use them.
Right. Yeah. As veterans, me and Jess don't spam them. I purposely don't use them very often because they are so ridiculously overpowered. And Jess just forgets about them because they're new. And if that's what you do with every new Monster Hunter, you forget all the new fun toys you have. Like I said, as a newbie, use them. They're there. They make the game more accessible than it has ever been. Use them. Don't feel bad for using them. No, they are making the game easier to a point where I think it's bad, but this is Monster Hunter. We've for years and years and years wanted more people to play with. If these Silkbind skills make the game to accessible to the point where you're going to play with us, please use them. I'd rather play with you than not. I just, as a veteran, I borderline hate the Silkbind skills. I think they are amazing. I think they're beautifully animated. I think they're an interesting new mechanic. I think they are so incredibly overpowered. It makes the game so easy. Monster Hunter is a hard game. As I said, for newbies, this is a great accessibility option. For veterans who want the challenge of 3 Ultimate and Generations Ultimate where things were hard, Silkbind just eliminates it. Just carves out anything that was hard. I fought the Magnamala, which is supposed to be, the flagship monster. It's not the hardest monster in the game, but they're supposed to be big bads. I used like 7 potions, I think I counted, and that's you can carry 20 with you, and then you can collect up to 10 in the quest from the box, and then you can craft more, right? During the quest. I used 7 out of the 30 plus that you can have with you. That shouldn't be happening the first time you fight the big bad flagship monster. A large portion of the story is being delayed for future updates and DLC. I'm not super great about this. Monster Hunter has always been good about delivering free DLC. So I trust we will get the story we deserve and the story that they were working on. Let's be honest, COVID made everything weird. That's probably why it happened the way it did. I do not know. I have not checked the validity of the stories. I've heard mention that it's supposed to be paid DLC. If that's the case, I'm kind of upset. If it is free DLC, I trust Capcom will deliver. We just got to give them time. It's been a bad year.
Yeah, I mean, it's half and half. It could be COVID. It could also be, they released Monster Hunter World and they had an expansion come out, and they could just be in this mindset. Oh, we can get more money by releasing more content, but in a paid way. I don't know.
Right.
Capcom never seems to have been the kind of company who's like, give me all the money. They're not like EA, but they might be different after World. I don't know. I'm willing to pay for an expansion. I paid for Iceborne, but I never touched it because that was about the time I was hands on with my kid 24/7, so I couldn't touch it. But I mean, I don't think you should be spending more than $30 on an expansion, especially if quote unquote the main story isn't complete. So
Hmm.
we'll just have to see.
I've heard some people complain about the number of monsters in this. I think this
There's
is
a
a
ton of monsters. What?
Yeah, I think this is a great number of monsters. I think we've been spoiled in the past with Generations Ultimate, which had 70 large monsters. We're not going to get that again for a while. That's
Yeah,
insane. I
yeah.
think this one's at 25 or 30. I forget exactly. It's a fair number. It's good.
It's got old
Not
stuff.
complaining.
It's got stuff from World. It's got new stuff. I
And
I
they've
think the
already
amount's
promised
fine.
us more new stuff.
Yeah,
You can see in the game that there are Zamtrios. They're like sharks with mosquito noses.
which means
So
it's
hopefully
Zamites. So we should
Zamites,
see
yeah.
Zamtrios, which is the big shark
Yeah.
boy who blows up.
The Zamtrios has a similar
And
move
then we
set and
see,
body type to
er,
the Tetranodon, so chances we're going to see Zamtrios in the future are
yeah.
pretty high.
There's Aroctors, which are the baby Agnactors. So
Yeah.
we should, in theory,
And
see that too.
Agnator has almost an identical body to the Mitsuzune, and that's there, so hopefully see Agnator in the future.
I hope so. I love both Zamtrios and Agnactors, so I'd like to see them
I
come in.
want Plesioth.
Hip checks for days. I want Legaia crew.
Only if we can fight underwater.
We're not fighting underwater. It's not happening.
But probably everything I mentioned right now, I'm not even that upset about. Silk binds, I just don't use them. The story being delayed, it's fine. I don't have enough time to beat the story before they're going to release that DLC, anyways.
Right.
This one, I am upset about. They added a lot of new mechanics to Rise. Yay, new mechanics, awesome. Palamute's cool. What's a Kahoot? What does it do?
You send it off at the beginning of the quest, you never see it again. I have no idea what it's supposed to do.
As adorable as that owl is, why is it in the game?
It's your pig. It's your llama. It's just the pet that looks cute and exists.
But at least like they're upfront. Like the pig is something you pet and you love on. The llama is something you pet and you love on. Well, the llama gave you stuff,
Well, so does the Kahoot.
sort
You
of.
go to its nest and it has stolen
You
shit from the village.
Is that any different than like just another part of your farm?
I mean, I guess not,
Is it
but
any different than the sword in Freedom Unite that was in the ice tunnel or the? It's a. I don't know what the Kahoot was there for. It's so cute. I love it. I like they can put costumes on it, but like they give you all this interaction with it that doesn't do anything. They give you a lot of interaction with your Palico and Palamute, which are really fun and great for setting the environment and stuff. But considering what's not in the game and the fact that these mechanics are in the game, what? So a lot of the new mechanics I think weren't fully baked. The silk bind skills being so overpowered is part of this. The Palamutes being like the be all end all of quests. Like you can do everything from the back of Palamute. It's great that you can move quickly now, but like it eliminates any thought process and like when do I sharpen or when do I potion. Now it's just get on the back of your dog and you can do whatever. It doesn't matter.
I mean, I'm still thinking about those things. I don't know what you mean, but all right.
Yeah, there's a lot of new mechanics in this game that just don't feel finished to me. And I think they could have not added mechanics and finished some of the stuff that was there.
We haven't really talked about the riding system.
Oh, you ride the dog. It
No, I'm in
drifts.
the monster riding system.
Oh, the new rodeo mechanic.
This should really be called Monster Hunter Ride, not Monster Hunter
This
Rise.
actually ties into what I'm complaining about right now, how this is not finished, but it's also the best it's the best and worst thing to ever happen to Monster Hunter. What are your thoughts?
I liked. When did they first add the jumping on the back of a
So
monster mechanic? Was that
rodeoing Monster
4?
Hunters was in 4. It was also in 3 Ultimate, wasn't it? No, it was not in
No,
3
I
Ultimate. It
think it
came
was
out in
4.
4.
Okay, yeah. So they added the idea of jumping on the back of monsters in 4, and before it was if you're playing multiplayer, you absolutely could not hit the monster while somebody was riding it because it would mess them up. And then they changed stuff, I think, in
Yeah, and
World where
then
it didn't matter if somebody was hitting
well,
it.
in 4 Ultimate and then Generations, now you can hit the monster.
Yeah. And then this one comes around and it's like not only can you jump on the monster you are fighting, but you can jump on the other monsters in the area if they show up and happen to start engaging because they kind of this is what I thought from the get-go. They took Monster Hunter stories, which I will talk about a little bit at the end of the podcast, and they took Monster Hunter World and they shoved them together in this Monster Hunter Rise because Monster Hunter Stories, the big part of it, as like a little kiddier version of Monster Hunter, is that you ride the monsters around literally everywhere. You're not trying to fight them inherently. You're trying to collect them. It's like Pokemon, but Monster Hunter. And then Monster Hunter World,
Monster Hunter, gotta catch 'em all.
Monster Hunter World added the stuff with your little, what was it called in there where you had the thing to shoot around to grab on things that
Hmm?
became in this one Silkbind. Your little arm band. What was it called?
Oh, the slinger.
The Slinger. Yeah, that did everything for you. So yeah, they took these games and put them together, and that's where you get Rise. So you don't have the Slinger anymore. You get Silkbind, and then you ride monsters. But yeah, I mean, the concept of hopping on a monster in the other area, contrary to what you're actually supposed to be fighting, beating the crap out of the monster you're fighting, and then jumping on the monster you're fighting and making them ram themselves into a wall. Like, I love it. It's great. I mean, I liked Rodeo when it started, but the whole thing was, oh, well, my friend hopped on before me, and now I just have to sit here and wait until they're done because I can't do
Hmm.
anything to the monster.
Once they
Once,
fix that, it got
yeah,
good.
once they fixed that, it was fine. And this is even better because two people could hop on a monster at the same time.
Have a fight. Who will win?
Yes, what I like to say a lot of times when I'm streaming is let them fight, like out of the second Godzilla movie, because if another monster pops in the room, you're just like, let them go at it. And then once they pop up to ride them, because they're standing there all week and whatever, you and your buddy both hop on and start wrecking each other. And it's great. I love it. I have no complaints. It's a great mechanic.
I have complaints.
Of course, you have complaints.
So, in the old games, rodeoing was something you had to purposely go out of your way to do. The only way you could rodeo in the past is by doing an aerial attack. So you had to
Aerials.
jump off something in the environment and hit the monster. And it was usually difficult for most weapons to do, except for the smaller, faster weapon. Fast forward to Rise. Now, when a monster is ready to be rodeoed, it stops moving. Wire bugs surround it, and it just sits there and waits patiently for you to climb on its back. Not only does it just stop fighting and sit there waiting patiently for you to get on its back, the only way it will stop doing that is if you wait 60 seconds or you climb on its back. And you cannot attack it. You can't do anything to it while it's in that state. You either climb on its back or you wait. I love the mechanic of the new rodeoing, how you can control the monster. You have to take it with a huge heaping of salt. Like, why is this a thing? But it's cool. You can control the monsters. You can do almost the entire monster's move set based on the button combinations that you press while you're fighting. It's pretty cool. It's almost like learning a new weapon. You have to learn what your monster does while you're rodeoing it. You can have them fight other monsters, or you can, as Jessica mentioned, slam them into parts of the environment until they fall over. And then once they fall over, you can use your wire bugs to tie them to the ground and beat them up while they can't move. This game's a little sadistic, isn't it?
What? It's called Monster Hunter, Matt.
Anyways, my biggest complaint is that in the past, rodeoing was something you worked towards, and it was something you did on purpose. Now, when a monster wants to get ridden for whatever reason, they like it, I guess.
Awkward.
You're you're gonna ride it because it's the only way to get it to stop wanting to get ridden. As weird as that
All
sounds,
right, this is
that's the truth.
sounding uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm looking at the IGN and the Game Informer reviews just to get an idea of what they were complaining about because I noticed this game wasn't getting great reviews. Cough cough. Me mentioning Metacritic's at 88. Their comment on the writing system was that it used to be scary if another monster showed up while you were mid battle with somebody else, and now it's just
Hmm.
like, oh, well, I'm just gonna let them fight long
Right.
enough for me to use this as a tool.
I
So
agree with that.
I get how that takes away from the experience, but also they put like all the big monsters in the one area one time. So if you had four monsters able to
In the
mess you up
past,
at
you would have just
once,
walked away. You'd be like,
right?
let's go cook some meat."
You would be too intimidated to even touch the game if you were so scared
Is
that
that good or bad though?
I don't know. I I don't
I
think me personally, I don't think it affects my gameplay negatively.
I
I
don't like
can still
agreeing with
get messed
IGN.
up with, huh? What?
I don't like agreeing with IGN.
Oh, okay.
But in the past, some monsters were known for their ability to come in and wreck your battle, like Devil Pickle.
Yes, it's literally in quotations from IGN. The notorious Devil Joe and the Basilgeist aren't in Rise, but I'm honestly not sure how their imposing interruptions would even work here.
Right. In the past, if you were fighting a monster, other monsters could wander in, and you would just have to get out of their way and let them duke it out. One would eventually leave. In World, they added the mechanic where they would purposefully fight each other. And now it was suddenly cool that they were fighting, but you could still get messed up if you got in the way. In Rise, if they start fighting each other, like no one cares. You're still just beating them up. And as soon as someone rodeos one, yeah, all bets are off. It's not scary at all if other monsters show up. You're like, yay, which is I don't think it's good, but I could hear an argument that it is. That's a tough one. I liked being scared, and Rise doesn't scare me anymore.
Yeah, I would say the consequence of more people being interested in Monster Hunter since World is that they have made everything slightly easier. But I don't know. Me being a person who has less time to put into it now than I used to, I don't see it being easier as a huge issue for me. I'm still enjoying the game, and that's all that really matters to me. Am I enjoying it? Yes. And that's what it comes down to, is I am enjoying it. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at Game Informer's review, and they're like, run of the litter. I can't say that this game is
No,
run
that
of
was
the litter.
World.
I can't say that World was either. I enjoyed World a lot. You know,
As far
people's
as lack of content and mechanics, World was a step back from
Well,
generations.
yeah, because they intentionally had planned on releasing Iceborne expansion that you need to pay
Uh huh.
for.
Yeah.
People still want to get caught up on the graphics, and I'm just like, it's using the Resident Evil 7 engine. It the loading screens are amazing. I mean,
Do you
there's
want to
there's no
talk
loading
about
screen.
the new engine at all? What it's brought and what's not? Yeah, new engine. No loading. Well, the only loading screens are between the hub world and the fighting world. There's no loading screens while you're fighting. You can see distant features. You can see the monsters way out in the distance. Everything is gorgeous. There's reflections, there's day night cycles, there's clouds, there's particle effects. There might be too many particle effects. Some people are complaining about how many particle effects there are, and I can't say they're wrong. But it's gorgeous engine that runs without a single stutter. We had four large monsters in one area yesterday, and my game
No, it
didn't
was three.
three. Fine. Okay, three
It
large
was
monsters.
Magna Mallow,
Magna Marshmallow,
Magna Marshmallow,
Ludroth,
Royal Ludroth,
and something else. A
and
bird. Three large monsters, plus however many small monsters are always in an area, plus the reflections, because there's water in that part, plus me and Jess running around,
our
plus
dogs.
our doggos, and it held up with 60 FPS that I didn't notice. It might have been less than 60, but I did not notice. It did not matter. It ran great. That's impressive on the little Nintendo Switch.
I don't know. Game Informer reviews trying to be like, oh well, it doesn't bring anything to the table. I'm like, okay, well,
The new exploration alone isn't enough. The amount of time you can spend walking around these
right.
levels, and
This is comparable to what I would say Breath of the Wild, where anywhere is a mountain, you can climb it. I mean,
yeah, in the
you can
past,
wire bug and go in all the areas that are gray that you couldn't walk on before. You can walk on now. I mean,
Monster Hunter was notorious for invisible walls to keep you in the playable area. Now, no, there are no invisible walls.
I
You
mean
can
there are.
go.
I have found some.
Okay, yes, there are still invisible walls to keep you from leaving the level, but for the most part, when you are exploring, those aren't an issue. You can go most everywhere you see, most everywhere that looks interesting. You can go. There are some exceptions, yes. To say that that adds nothing to the game, especially the stuff they've hidden in all these new areas you can
Yeah, there's
explore.
stuff to collect in game areas now,
You'll
which
find
so
like
much.
they got rid of the capture little monster mechanic from World where you give them as
I
pets,
liked that though.
but they still have the monsters, so you can still find them everywhere,
You
and they're
technically still
cute.
collect them. They just stay in your pouch for you to use in the middle
Yeah,
of a quest.
You
You just
throw
don't
them
have them in
like
your house.
you throw them like items. It's hilarious.
Yeah, you do. Which honestly, like I was in the middle. Was it the Magnum Mallow we were fighting or something else? Where
I don't
I
know.
I chucked one of the frogs.
You probably did.
I can't remember what fight it was, but yeah, that, I mean that was convenient to do. Instead of just kicking it in the middle of the quest, you pick it up and save it for later. I mean that's nice. Oh, we could just keep talking. We really
We
could.
could. We could talk all night.
But
Monster
I'm
Hunter's
so
good.
tired, and I have things to stream, and it's already
Well,
practically
talking
midnight.
about streaming, where can we see you streaming,
You
Jessica?
can see me streaming at dragon underscore of underscore rampage on Twitch. Where can we see you streaming?
I stream too. I'm a chicken.
I'm just a person.
I'm on twitch.tv/mr underscore universe underscore guy. Little
Matt's
chicken
a
avatar.
VTuber.
I am.
He's a chicken
I'm a
VTuber.
chicken.
I'm just a person. I have a green screen though. That's something. I'm getting better. I'm getting more
Yeah, you should come
professional
hang out with us on
in this
stream.
Twitch streaming. Yeah, check us out.
We got schedules that we're usually pretty good about, except the weekends. We're never
Except
on time on the
now
weekends.
I'm gonna be like 2.5 hours late.
Yeah,
It is
that's
what it is.
fine.
It's whatever. I'm gonna get
You should
on.
also send us an email.
You should send us emails at
Uh, familyfunforce at gmail.com.
familyfunforce@gmail.com. You can also come and talk to us on Facebook via Family Fun Force. Join our Family Fun Force pod group. All
What are
right.
your final thoughts?
If you like this title or
You want to do
looking,
similar titles first?
yes, that's what it's supposed to be.
Fine.
God, if you like this title, looking for something similar to it, Dragon's
Nothing.
Dogma, but it is M. What?
I said nothing.
Dragon's Dogma. At this point, you're gonna want Dragon's Dogma Dark and Risen. It comes with the expansion. I'm fairly certain they're shutting down the server soon if they haven't already. So sorry about that, but it's still worth playing the game.
Dragon's Dogma, single player, but it feels like an MMO because the world is so vast and there's so much to do.
And you hop on monsters
Yeah,
like
you
Monster
can
Hunter, and then there's
claim run up.
combos like Monster
And
Hunter.
the weapons, there aren't as many weapons. There's only 6 weapons.
And you're in a party of up to 4, right?
Of 4 NPCs.
Yeah, I mean they're with you though. They're not other people. You can't play with other people, but you have pawns and they follow you around. But again, it's good, but it is M, so you may not want your kids playing it. It's got some sexual content in it and very graphic violence.
None of it's overtly.
Yeah, it's there though.
It is.
Matt may have bashed Monster Hunter World, but I will still say if you don't have a Switch, you should try Monster Hunter
You should
World.
go buy a Switch.
If you want something easier or more kid friendly, Monster Hunter Stories. The original game was available on 3DS, came out in 2017.
Asterisk, your kid should be good at reading.
I mean, there's reading, but you don't really need that much. It's rated E10, so just put it there. It's rated E10. Monster Hunter Stories 2 is coming out July for Switch and PC. The original is on 3DS. So, if you want it newer, you don't need to play the first game to play the second game because you're playing as the ancestor of the original main character from Monster Hunter Stories 1. But yeah, it is actually releasing on Steam and Nintendo Switch. If you play Monster Hunter Rise and then you buy Monster Hunter Stories 2, you get some free content because Capcom's good about if you have brand loyalty, you get free stuff. So keep that in mind too. Monster Hunter Stories, I'm obviously not really going to go into a huge review. Matt never played it. I never beat it on 3DS. I really liked it. It was super cute. It was like the Monster Hunter experience, but Pokemon. I think I already said that once, but it's worth trying out. At least I don't know if they're going to release a demo on Switch or not. They've not really said, but it doesn't come out until July, so you've got some time. At least if there's a demo, check it out. That's all I'm going to say about that. What about your similar titles, Matt?
God's Eater. It's sort of more actiony, less
more anime.
Awesome, more anime.
If you're a weeb, try God's Eater.
Individual boss fights aren't as memorable, but it's still like a get better armor and weapons over time, repeatedly fighting big things.
Is it God's Eater 2 or 3 that's on PS4 and PC? I can't even remember.
Just the series, whatever's the latest in the series. Give it a try.
The latest stuff's on, computer and PS4.
Phantasy Star Online.
Yep.
Same sort of deal. Phantasy Star's really sci-fi. I think there's mechs now. The newest one, I was watching a trailer. I'm like, this doesn't look like what I played, but okay. Yeah, there's like mechs and stuff now, but that the newest one's a true MMO. Finally, it gets what it deserves, and it's still there's still like dungeon crawling in Phantasy Star, but there are also large bosses that take a long time to defeat. Same deal. Obviously, can't talk about Monster Hunter without mentioning the Souls games. They're similar premise, with
Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2,
yeah,
Bloodborne. All M though.
all M. I've never thought the Souls games were as good as Monster Hunter. I think Souls are more rote memorization. Monster Hunter is more fluid. And then yeah, Jess mentions Dragon's Dogma, which we can't hype enough. If you like Dragon Age, Dragon's Dogma's right there. I think Dragon's
I don't know
Dogma,
that I compare Dragon Age to Dragon's Dogma. Dragon Age is more
Dragon Age is
story
more story focused.
RPG. Dragon's Dogma's got story, but it's not that focused on it.
Dogma is more about exploring this vast world that they just like open up for you, and you're like, go do what you want, and like there's just cool stuff everywhere.
Let me just insert one thing into that. If you see the Dragon's Dogma anime on Netflix,
Don't watch it.
I watched all of it
No.
because I'm a big fan of Dragon's Dogma.
If you
The
like
only thing that's good is that the representations of the monsters themselves are 100%. That's what they look like. That's
Harpy,
how they act. Yes. Everything else isn't anywhere near close to what the game was like. So take the anime with a grain of salt.
the harpies.
The harpies weren't in the anime.
I thought the last episode or whatever
It was
was.
a succubus, which
Oh,
isn't even
okay.
in the game.
All right.
It made no sense. It was literally that episode was just a sex grabbing episode. The whole show is very mature sexual content heavy, which the video game was not. Which is
Yeah,
why I'm saying the only thing that's right in the anime
the
is
video
the
game
monsters.
had pervy things kind of as a joke.
Yeah, it wasn't like that serious and up in your face. It was kind of like snuck it in behind. Because key point, I'll just say right here, you hook up with a certain character and I didn't even know what was happening. I was just playing the game and
That
I was
was
like, "Oh,
funny.
she's just being friendly." And I'm like, "Oh, I just did insert, word here with her and now I'm going to jail." And I didn't even know what was happening. It wasn't up in your face about it in the game, but the anime is very because, it's anime and they feel like they got to sexualize everything.
Yeah, don't watch the anime. It's just not good.
If you want to see what the monsters look like and how they act, cool. Everything else has nothing to do with a video game. It really doesn't. Watch watch Castlevania instead.
Oh wow, just more mature titles for everybody. Why not?
Okay, well, I mean, if we're talking about Dragon's Dogma was already M, so I'm saying if you want to watch a more mature anime, watch Castlevania instead.
Go watch the original animated Hobbit. Okay,
I own that on DVD, folks.
it's still good.
I haven't watched it since I got it. I should really just watch it. Okay, is that it for recommendations?
Yeah, that's all I
All
got.
right, personal rating. I put 100 out of 10. I know we don't do a number scale, but this is Monster Hunter. It's different.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
get the game. Just get it.
I
Just get
got
it.
I got problems with this one.
I got problems, but Monster Hunter ain't one.
There are things I don't like about this one. This is as close to a 10 out of 10 game as I have ever played. It's so good. It's Monster Hunter. It's
It's
great.
Monster Hunter. It's good. All right. So yeah, let me say if you decide to watch our streams, I stream Monster Hunter on Sunday, Slaying Sunday, as long as I am coherent, and Monday is also Monster Hunter Monday. So I stream Monster Hunter back to back on my Twitch Sunday and Monday. I don't have anyone set to play with me, so if you listen to this and you want to play with me, hop on my stream and say so, and then we can send you an invite to the Discord and yada yada yada. Maybe you can play with me. I have online access now, so I can do that.
It's important to note Dragon streams are not family friendly.
My streams are not family friendly. Everything is prefaced with an M because I cannot stop myself from swearing. Sorry, kiddos. You're gonna have to like okay the M rating from mom or dad because I'm gonna swear. I
But
can't
if you
help it.
want more family friendly content, we have been discussing in the Discord group getting a role playing game podcast started that would be family friendly. If you have any interest in that, you should come join the Discord and Facebook groups and say, hey, I'm interested in recording or being a part of, or even just listening if you want to listen to that. Not sure the game system, probably just not Dungeons and Dragons is all I have to say. It's something we want to look for.
My Little Pony RPG.
I'm fine with that. My Little Pony RPG is a good RPG. Would recommend.
All right. Do we have anything else to add? It's already 12:10. Oh my god.
Go buy Rise.
Go buy Monster Hunter Rise. If you're not gonna buy Monster Hunter Rise, go buy Monster Hunter Stories too. All right, Matt. What's our next title?
Pokemon Trap. Pokemon Clap. Pokemon
Snap?
Rap. Snap. That doesn't sound right.
Pokemon Snap. I guess it's technically Pokemon Snap, whatever. We're talking about the new Switch Pokemon Snap game. Guess what, y'all? I never played the 64 version, so we're gonna play that new one. Comes out very soon, and we're gonna play it. Pokemon Snap.
Can't believe I'm being made to play this game.
That's too bad for you, and all the good for me. Alright, y'all. Peace out.
Bye bye. Hi, I'm Jess.
I'm Matt.
Insert Scooby-Doo references the entire time you hunt.
Dooby dooby doo.
I thought you said make a cake.
Bake me a cake.
It's a piece of cake, bake a pretty cake.
Alright, you. Hi, and welcome to the Family Fun Force podcast. I'm Jess.
I'm Jess. I said, okay, well, I'm cutting all this stuff.
Oh, okay, fine. Cut all this. What do I care? What am I even talking for? No, no reason. No talking for no
What?
reason. Dun da 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 da.